I just love enemies to lovers so much that when someone is mean to the main character, I automatically think that they are a love interest. If that's how book movie adaptations are gonna be, like, keep it at home. Like, keep it far, far away from me. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a cozy fall reading vlog, mainly because it just recently dipped below 80 degrees, and for some reason in my head that means that it's now fall. So it is Monday and we are starting off this video by reading Lightlark by Aster. I'm actually part of a book club at my college and this is the first book that we're reading this semester. I started it last night thinking that maybe I would read 50 pages and then call it a day. But once I picked up this book, I literally could not set it down. I'm addicted. I have been thinking about this book all day. I just got back from classes and I literally could not concentrate because I was just thinking about how I want to go home and read this book. So if you did not know, Lightlark is actually a YA fantasy, and it's about this deadly competition that takes place every 100 years. And it's this competition between these 6 rulers of these 6 different realms, and each realm has like these magical powers, but they all struggle with a curse, and the competition is basically their chance to break the curse, and whoever breaks the curse gets unparalleled powers, like they're gifted really cool powers, I guess, on top of their already really cool powers. But in order to win, one ruler in one realm must die. So our main character, Isla, she is the ruler of the wildlings, and their powers is like nature, but their curse is that they have to eat human hearts to survive, and they also can't fall in love. They kill whoever they fall in love with. But yeah, I've really been enjoying it so far. I'm about 50% through, which is crazy because I have been struggling with a reading slump for I don't even know how long. I guess all I needed to cure it was a good fantasy, but I will say that the romance is very minimal, but every little crumb of enemies to lovers that we get, I just eat up every time. I am going into this book completely blind, so I do have a suspicion that there might be a love triangle, but if you have read this book and you know for a fact there isn't and you're laughing at me right now, please stop, because I'm just like going in here for vibes, okay? I think there's a love triangle. I don't know. I'm like picking up on some vibes, but I'm not totally sure. Update time. I am at the part where it's like the ball and it marks the 50th day of the 100-day competition, and basically the ball is the starting point of when the rulers can kill one another. So tensions are high, the stakes are high, and I'm just so nervous right now. I just know that something big is going to happen. There's going to be a big betrayal or something, and I'm not ready for it. Everything is like kind of going okay, and the enemies to lovers is enemies to lovering, and I just am eating it up. But I just know something bad is on the horizon, and my anxiety is not doing well. Guys, I am about 300 pages in, and the craziest thing happened. I'm not going to divulge because that would be a huge spoiler, but just know that I am flabbergasted, jaw to the floor, like what just happened. So I just wanted to quickly update you guys and just confirm that this book is not a love triangle. For a split second, I thought maybe it was. I just don't know. I went into this book completely blind. I bet everyone that has already read this book looked at me like I was crazy for thinking that there's a love triangle. But yeah, sorry for spreading misinformation. I really did not mean to do that. I just love enemies to lovers so much that when someone is mean to the main character, I automatically think that they are a love interest. This is the face of someone who stayed up way too late reading and regrets it tremendously. So it is the next day. I am severely sleep deprived, but I did finish Lightlark. It was so good. Literally binged it in 2 days. I haven't felt this way about a book in such a long time. Because of this, I immediately got the second book on my Kindle. I literally could not wait. I stayed up until like 2 in the morning reading it. I am now 60% through Nightbane, I think. I don't think I like it as much as I like Lightlark, just because the whole plot line of the deadly competition like really got me. I love that trope. I think that's why I like other books like Powerless, Hunger Games, stuff like that. The whole guessing game while reading Lightlark of like, who can I trust, who can I not trust, really reminded me of Caraval. So if you like that trilogy or you like that first book, highly recommend Lightlark. I'm going to give you guys my full review and thoughts at the end of this video, so stay tuned for my rating, because I'm still kind of sitting on it, but who knows. Back to Nightbane. This is the second book of the Lightlark trilogy. The third book doesn't come out until like November, and I don't know what I'm going to do until then. But the good news is that I have just gone on a deep dive of like the Lightlark fandom, and apparently the whole series got picked up for a movie deal. So I have that to look forward to. Hopefully they give this series justice, because I cannot deal with another It Ends With Us tragedy. Like, no thank you. If that's how book movie adaptations are gonna be, like, keep it at home. Like, keep it far away from me. I did want to tell you guys that I was right, that there is definitely love triangle in this series. I think it definitely shows up towards the end of Lightlark the most, and then obviously in the second book. Don't know how I feel about it. Obviously I have a favorite, but I don't dislike my non-favorite. It's gonna be tough when the time comes and she has to make a choice, because I do have a favorite, like I said, but I do care about the other character. Like, I don't hate him. I wasn't going to say who my favorite was, but it's obviously Grimm, because I love a good brooding emo fantasy boy. And the part where I'm at, eating, 8. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, 8. I just finished reading Nightbane, and I am like at a loss for words. I don't think I have felt like this since The Ballad of Never After, because that book wrecked me. I am like so sad right now. Like, I'm on the verge of tears because the third book isn't out yet. Like, it doesn't come out until like November, I think. And that's just like not right. I'm sorry. Like, that's just not okay. I need it now. Please, Alex Aster, if you're watching this, which I know you're not, send me an arc, because I love you and I love this book series. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna rate this book yet. I like really don't know. I'm like so torn right now. I think this, however, has solidified my rating for Lightlark, but again, I'm not gonna tell you guys that until the end of this video. and we'll do like a collective wrap up of all the books I've read. But just know that you should go read this series, like if you haven't already. Maybe wait for the third book to come out and then just binge all 3 of them. That's kind of what I wish I had done. But everything is 2020 when you have hindsight or whatever. Isn't that what they say? I have no clue. The love triangle is definitely love triangling. I honestly don't know who she's gonna pick. Like, I have my favorite and I have like my conspiracies, but like it could honestly go either way, which I appreciate, because sometimes love triangles, they're very much like one-sided for one side of the triangle, and you're like, why is this even a love triangle? Because you know she's gonna end up with the other guy. But I think for this series it's pretty much split in half. I'm gonna be a little disappointed if my favorite isn't picked, but I'm not gonna be like super heartbroken because I do like both of them. I'm just gonna go maybe do some homework, maybe binge TikToks of fan art edits. So after being productive for a few hours, I am back. I decided to treat myself by starting a new book. I just started The Hunted Heir by Renee. This is the second book in the Veiled Kingdom series by her. I read the first book of this series in like May or June, and I really, really loved it. It honestly reminded me of Powerless because the main character, Verena, she was born in a world where there are magical powers, and basically being born without powers is kind of looked down upon. I can't remember if it's illegal to not have powers, but basically not having powers is a big no-no. And Verena is actually the princess of this kingdom, so the fact that she is powerless is kind of kept a secret, and she has kind of been kept away for most of her life, and because of that she's kind of felt like a prisoner her whole life. So she decides to run away one day, but she ends up being captured by the rebellion, who is obviously not a fan of her dad, the king. And this is where she meets Docre. I hope I'm saying his name right, but he is the rebellion commander's son. And let's just say there's a lot of enemies to lovers, angst and tension, and it's just so good. If you're new to fantasy and you're an avid romance reader, I think The Veiled Kingdom is a great book to read, mainly because the romance aspect is like very prominent into the plot. It reads very much like a romance book with a sprinkle of fantasy aspects. I also think the world building is super easy to understand and not that hard to like grasp or get into. Plus, The Veiled Kingdom is like only 300 pages, so you could easily finish it in like one sitting. I feel so horrible saying this, especially after the last clip of me raving about The Veiled Kingdom, but I am 50 pages into The Hunted Heir, and I have no clue who these people are. Like, I know who Verena and Docre are, like, do not get me wrong, I'm not that decrepit and sad, but everyone else, I just don't know who you are. Like, who are you? Have I met you before? Are you a new character? Like, I just don't know. Can we please normalize character glossaries? Like, that would be so helpful, especially in fantasy series when the books are like published months or years apart. Like, I sincerely apologize that my memory is like a sickly elderly goldfish. I could love and rave about a book, and that book could change my life, and I would not be able to tell you any minor details. I could tell you the overarching plot. Do not get me wrong. I'm not that sad. I don't remember every little tiny detail. Like, it's so hard. So it is the next day, and I just wanted to quickly update you guys before I jump back into The Hunted Heir. So yesterday I read about 90 pages of this book, which means I'm roughly like 35% through. I honestly don't know how I feel about this book. It's not as fast-paced as the first one, unfortunately. I just feel like it doesn't grip you as much as the first one does, but I am going to give it the benefit of the doubt because I am only like 1/3 of the way through, so it could pick up pretty soon. I'm also kind of missing the enemies to lovers aspect that I love so dearly in the first one. Right now, the characters are kind of separated at the moment just because of what's going on plot-wise. And because they're separated, I'm not really getting that like banter and tension and angst that we all know and love with enemies to lovers. So because of that, it just kind of feels like the romance is lacking, but I'm hoping they reconnect soon because I just need some tension and angst, okay? My prayers have been answered. The main characters are finally reunited after basically being apart for the first third of the book. So we better be getting some good enemies to lovers moments, okay? So it is the next day. It is also the last day of this reading vlog, but yesterday I finished reading The Hunted Heir by Renee, and let me just be brutally honest for a moment. I was so close to DNFing this book. I never really got to the point where I really loved the plot and really liked what was going on. It honestly felt like it was just dragging the entire time, which is so unfortunate because the first book is spectacular, like literally wowed me, but the second one is lacking, and honestly, because of that, I don't think I'm going to be continuing this series. However, please do not let my personal experience deter you from reading this series. I honestly really did love the first one. It had everything I enjoyed, enemies to lovers, it was fast paced, it was super short, just everything you want in a romantasy book. So I still highly recommend that book, but I honestly might recommend it as a standalone, even though it's part of a series. But that's for you to decide. Like, if you're okay with just reading the first one and not finishing the series, do that. But if you are a girly that has to finish a series once you start it, then maybe read the first one, start the second one, and see how you feel, because everyone's reading experiences are different. So please don't base your entire judgment on my own reading experience, okay? With that being said, I think because this is the last day of the vlog, I'm just gonna go ahead and give you a video wrap up real quick. This book was like a 2 out of 5 for me, and that's being like very generous. Nothing against Renee. I honestly want to go back and maybe read some of her other books because I know she has like a bunch of other series that are finished and complete, because I do enjoy her writing style, and I really did like the first one. So I just want to give her another shot at redemption. Backtracking to the first book I read in this vlog, Lightlark by Aster, I can finally give you guys my full review, which is a 5 out of 5. Who knew that I would find a 5-star read in this reading vlog, because I did not. I honestly have heard such mixed reviews about this book, so I kind of went in with just like vibes, and honestly I would recommend doing the same. Like, just go in and don't expect anything and just kind of just vibe with it, because this book is just such a vibe. I absolutely loved the enemies to lovers. The love triangle I feel like is so well done in a way that I honestly don't know who I'm rooting for, because both characters have their flaws and have their moments. I also fully annotated this book, and I haven't annotated a book since like last year. So that was honestly a big surprise. I just loved the anxiety-inducing feeling of not knowing who to trust. Every chapter I was like, okay, is something bad going to happen? I loved the deadly competition. Like, that is just a trope I always eat up in fantasy books. It just creates such a high-stakes situation that I always eat up and adore. So yeah, 5 out of 5, highly recommend. The final book I read in this vlog was Nightbane by Aster. This is the second book in the Lightlark trilogy. The minute I finished the first one, I immediately started Nightbane because I just needed it, and now I have to wait until like November for the final book. So a little bit upset about that. Thought Sky Shade was coming out sooner, but it's fine. It's fine. We're dealing with it. But I rated this book a 4 out of 5. It wasn't a 5-star read just because I don't think anything will ever top the first one. Maybe the final book, because of the completion of the love triangle, is just gonna add so much to the final book. But it just didn't hit as hard just because my favorite character, Grim, wasn't fully interacting with the main character. It has this like dreamscape trope. I don't know if that's like a coined term, but basically she has dreams of the past. So it's like then and now kind of. And so like that's where we see a lot of his character, and I enjoyed that. However, it got to the point where I was actively skimming the present chapters just so I could go to the past chapters because those hit so much. I also feel like the stakes weren't as high as the first one, and because of that, I just don't think it was a 5-star. Don't get me wrong, still thoroughly loved the book. Will recommend this trilogy until the day I die. The main thing that I really applaud this book about is the fact that Alex Aster is making the love triangle so hard to choose a favorite. I have a favorite, but like if she ended up with the other person, I wouldn't be too heartbroken because I like his character. And I feel like most of the time in love triangles, there is a clear favorite, like The Summer I Turned Pretty. Like if you are Team Jeremiah for The Summer I Turned Pretty, like you are literally delusional. Whereas in this book, it's like 50-50. It's like, okay, which one do I like more? The blonde or the brunette? So those were all the books I read in this week's reading vlog. I'm going to end off the video here just because I feel like 3 books is a pretty good stopping point. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you've read any of these books and if you recommend them or how you feel about them. Or if they're on your TBR and you haven't read them yet, please let me know. I would love to discuss them with you. I also have a Bookstagram, currently Diver Booked, so make sure to go follow me on there. I just recently hit 14K, which is like an amazing milestone. I honestly don't know how I got to that point, but nonetheless, I am super grateful and thankful for you guys for supporting me. But I post daily on there. I post reels, book reviews, book updates, basically anything book related I post on there. And yeah, make sure to subscribe for more videos. I'm trying to become a little bit more consistent with posting. I was really good about it last year and then I kind of fell off a little bit because of my reading slump, but we are back and better than ever, so I'm just trying to be more consistent. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.